So welcome everyone to the NAEA Women's Caucus 2023 Awards Ceremony. I'm Dr. Rebecca Turk, the Women's Caucus President, and I will be moderating this event. A brief agenda so you know what's going to be happening today. Yes, again, welcome. I'm going to give an introduction to the Mary J. Rouse Award, and then we will have comments and introductions from the nominator, Dr. Boram Song, and then a presentation from our award recipient, Dr. Arang Koo. I want to make sure that I thank all the award committee chairs and members this year and the Women's Caucus Board for your service and making all of this possible. We will be putting out a call for nominations for the awards, for next year's awards, earlier in the fall. So be on the lookout for that. And for any other information or questions, you can visit our website that's below. It's naeawc.net. And without further ado, the Mary J. Rouse Award is given annually to recognize the contributions of an early professional who has evidence potential to make significant contributions in the art education profession. The award is given in honor of Mary J. Rouse, a highly respected and professionally active art educator whose untimely death in 1976 deeply affected the art education profession. In recognition of the contributions of an early professional in the field of art education, the Women's Caucus of the National Art Education Association invites nominations for the annual Mary J. Rouse Award. So I would like to invite Dr. Boram Song, who nominated Dr. Arang Koo, to introduce our recipient.
Thank you, Rebecca. Everybody, can you hear me okay? Yes, it's such an honor to really present Dr. Koo for, to celebrate her receipt of this wonderful, really amazing award. So it's such an honor. So let me introduce Dr. Arang Koo very briefly, and we can hear from her. Dr. Arang Koo is currently Associate Professor of Art Education at California State University, Fresno. As an artist and art educator, she promotes the efficacy of art to address cultural and societal and social awareness. Locally and globally, she focuses on community art, critical multiculturalism, encourages interdisciplinary collaboration through social engagement, and also advocates culturally responsive, sustaining pedagogy. Dr. Koo's research and teaching expertise include community art, visual storytelling, and art-based research, digital narrative, critical multiculturalism, and participatory action research. Amazingly, she has taught art at all levels, K through higher education, in many countries, including USA, South Korea, the Philippines, China, Russia, and Peru. And she has also exhibited her artworks very actively, including works like painting, drawing, printmaking, sculpture, and installations over 20 years. Dr. Koo has published articles in prestigious journals, including Studies in Art Education. And then she has been awarded grants and scholarships recognizing her community engaged work, such as Albert Schweitzer's Fellowship, Barbara and Sheldon Pinchuk Art Community Outreach Grant, and Michael B. Selwyn Scholarship. Her professional service includes working as executive committee of a committee on multi-ethnic concerns and AACIG, which is Asian Art and Culture Interest Group, special interest groups of NAEA, and serving on the review panels and journal editor boards for AERA, NAEA, and INSEA. Dr. Gu received a PhD in Arts Administration, Education, and Policy from the Ohio State University, and MA in Art Education from University of Florida, and MFA and BFA in Korean Painting from Ewha Women's University in Seoul, Korea. Everyone, please welcome Dr. Aran Gu.
Thank you so much. I will gonna share my screen and I will just have a brief presentation of my work. So, thank you so much, Dr. Song, for your very kind and amazing introduction and your support. Hello, everyone. I'm Aran Gu, Associate Professor and Art Education Coordinator at California State University, Fresno. Most and foremost, I want to thank Dr. Borim Song, whom I always call her my visionary mentor. Beyond my academic advisor and committees, she was the first person who was actually excited about my scholarly potential and has shown endless trust and support in my research journey. Beyond my academic advisor, as I said, without her insight and visionary leadership and mentorship and ongoing encouragement, I will not be here today. And I also forever, I'm really grateful and truly indebted to my dear Dr. Karen Hutzel, who has been my dearest mentor since 2013. Over the 10 years, she showed infinite belief and support without a single question. First, she grounded me in people and communities and highlighted that, in fact, what I believe and value is important to us all. She has always been there for me, sharing her insight and wisdom. I'm so thrilled, and it is my greatest honor to be listed as a recipient of this prestigious award, following the footsteps of my dear mentor who received it 10 years ago. I also want to sincerely thank Dr. Ryan Shin, who showed there is a pathway for me, be a racial and ethnic minority immigrant in the United States, and still make an impact in the field of art education. His contribution and scholarships in the field have motivated and inspired me and many other minority scholars. Not only his outstanding scholarship, but also his genuine care, respect, endless generosity, and sense of responsibility as a scholar have continuously reminded me of the value that I should carry on as a researcher and scholar. Please hang tight, it's far from over. I have a lot of more people to thank. So thank you, Dr. Debbie Smith-Shank. She was our department chair at the Ohio State University when I was a doctoral student. She opened the rim of my scholarly exploration, not limiting myself to art education, but also pushing my boundaries to further and reach out to greater education and arts advocacy work. I'm deeply grateful that I could learn so much from her over the past year. I also want to thank my dear mentors, Dr. Sherry Savage, Johnny Acup, Timothy San Pedro, Christine Ballange Morris, Patty Bodie, Sydney Walker, Kendra Stout, who invited me to explore diverse aspects and issues in art education. Their guidance and inspiration were the main driving force for my research endeavor. I also want to take a moment to express my deep gratitude to my research mentors and dear colleagues. I'm really grateful that they are here. Doctors Maria Lim, Oksun Lee, Eunjung Chang, Jae-han Bae, Sandrine Han, Kathleen Goodyear, Eunjil Lee, Kyung-eun Lim, Hyunji Kwon, Sujin Kim, and many more. Their endless understanding, encouragement, insight, and support have greatly helped me in this journey. Lastly, but most importantly, I would like to thank my family's sacrifice and boundless dedication for my work, especially my little daughter, who is now 3-year-old, who sacrificed her joy and a lot of playtime with me and to let me work. Without their support, nothing would have been possible. I wholeheartedly thank and love you. So I'm gonna move on to my research talk and begin a bit of conversation around that topic. So my research is my part of my life, and my life is a part of my research. I wish this quote was from me, but actually is not. So this is from Gloria Ladson-Billing, who is a great scholar, and I often start my presentation with this quote from her. The focus of my research has been evolving based on my personal backgrounds and social contexts, which have been impacting my identity. I have explored several different research areas in my transnational context, and I'm still hungry for learning. So in this presentation, I will introduce some of them. I will begin with my general background, which impact what I pursue as an artist, researcher, and art educator. Then I will describe the community-based art and art education that I have been really passionate about for over 20 years. I will also talk about my identity exploration as an Asian immigrant. And lastly, I will make some connection with my current research and teaching position and research agenda. So first, my background. I will start with my just general personal story. My mother is a painter and professor emeritus. And when I was very young, she studied painting at Kunstakademie Düsseldorf in Germany. And as you can see, I'm here, a little girl here. And thanks to those early exposure to art and the joy of art making, my hands and feet were always covered with paint as I grew up. I also majored in Korean painting and obtained both BFA and MFA at Ewha Women's University in Seoul, Korea. I was also a high school art teacher for about 6 years, which deepened my understanding of art education in practice. I came to the United States in 2011 to study, and this year is my 7th year in higher education as a teacher educator. I have been very passionate about community art projects. As an artist, I find excitement in working with others through art in public spaces rather than creating art by myself in studio setting. I created several public artworks working and interacting with others. And I was deeply engaged in community activities as well. I went to other countries, for example, to Peru and the Philippines, to learn from others and share my passion for art and education. For instance, I designed and organized mural projects. In this specific case, I worked with college students and K-12 students with disability. Regardless of their different background, it was the first time for both student groups to learn the joy of art making collaboratively. I talk about that experience in a book chapter. And you can see just basic quick glimpse of the chapter here. And since I came to the United States, my research has evolved. I came here at the age of 30 as an international student to study art education in graduate schools. At the beginning, I was not fully aware of the context of my transnational experiences and social hegemonies around them. I started my doctoral study in 2013 and began to understand what being a minority means. Dr. Hutzel, Savage, Acuff, and Valens Morris opened my eyes and encouraged me to investigate social cultural context of minority issues. As an Asian immigrant, I look back my identities and culture in various settings. I was also explored cultural identities of a Korean American community through a community-based participatory action research. Working with community members, including students, teachers, administrators, and parents, I learned a lot about fluidity and hybridity of cultural identities. During the process, I learned not only about the community members, but also myself and other minorities, and the value and power, the accessibility of visual art and storytelling. I conceptualized a framework that I named visual storying, which is an extension of Dr. Kinlock and San Pedro's concept of storying, and share visual stories with diverse communities. Those work became my doctoral dissertation and a few publications. As explained earlier, I was a high school art teacher and currently a teacher educator. Throughout the years, I met numerous students who are eager to tell their unique stories through art. Connecting art education to students' own interests, identities, stories, and surroundings, I strive to bring awareness of our society. As a K-12 teacher, I encourage students to pay close attention to their inner self and surroundings. Self-reflexivity and further social awareness have been the main aspect of my art education pedagogy. I talked about them in publication. And I also invite my college students to explore their identities in the context of cultural and societal differences. My students explore various social layers and stereotypes existing in our daily lives. I also connected this pedagogical approach with contemporary art, introducing Asian art and social cultural exploration. So it became also a part of the book chapter. I would like to highlight my current student a bit. So this is my 6th year at California State University, Fresno as a faculty member. I learned a lot from my students who share different and similar backgrounds compared to me. We have over 80% of racial and ethnic minority whose parents or grandparents are immigrants from different parts of the world. I constantly try to expose my students to wider context of arts and education by inviting leading scholars and community practitioners. I just want to take a moment to note our dean's strong support for my education endeavor. Through those exposures, I highlighted that art making can be a socially engaged practice while showing some of the internationally recognized artist examples. I also want my students to critically reflect on our surroundings. During the COVID-19 pandemic, I organized a collaborative reflection of our social and emotional well-being. Students reflected on their mental condition and reconsidered their roles as artists and art educators. The students' outcomes were shared with a broader community and is in the process of being published. Socially related discourses open our students' understanding of art and surroundings. Currently, I have been working on a few research projects based on this context. Cultural and social awareness and the celebration of diversity and differences are at the center of my current research. I hope to contribute to a better understanding of all human beings and their differences. Also, with the Dr. Song's visionary leadership and effort, I have the honor of working with her, exploring how we as an art educator can focus on the sense of belonging in the context of teacher education. Also with Dr. Borim Song and Kyung-eun Lim, we have been collaborating to explore the implication of artificial intelligence in art education, learning from contemporary artists and scientists' art practices. We have organized 4 AI workshops this semester, and the last one with Refik Analdor will be this April 20th, 2023. Looking back, when I was a doctoral student, I attended the Women's Caucus Award ceremonies. I still vividly remember when Dr. Acup was receiving this award in 2017, and I was sitting next to Dr. Hutzel, my mentor. I never thought at that time I would be the recipient of this award, and again, this is my true honor to be recognized through this distinguished award, following the footsteps of my mentors. Without all the help from my mentors, colleagues, friends, and my family, I would not be here. So for other early career researchers, hang tight, keep pursuing what you value the most, and someday, somewhere, someone will notice you. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so very, very much, Dr. Koo, for your wonderful presentation, and congratulations on this, on receiving this award this year. I think we should all give Dr. Koo a round of applause, either virtually or even unmute. And
Thank you so much. Thank you.